Forget the historic record-breaking flight of Artemis II at the very edge of space. While humanity stares blindly at the stars, we are ignoring the true 80% unexplored mystery lurking right under our noses, our oceans. Down there in the eternal darkness of the deep sea, creatures have just been caught on camera that were thought to be extinct for millions of years, a discovery that leaves the entire scientific world absolutely shell-shocked. Even today, the unfathomable depths of the ocean may still harbor countless prehistoric animals and undiscovered living beings that could be brought to light by new technologies in the future. So, watch the full video, because the evidence is breathtaking. For some reason, scientists know that prehistoric life forms can still survive in the deep sea in modern times. This became an absolute certainty back in 2004, when a living giant squid was caught on camera for the very first time. These animals can reach lengths of up to 13 meters, which is roughly the size of a large shipping container. They roam at extreme depths that equal the height of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest skyscraper in the world. But as we ventured into even more extreme depths, equivalent to 7 Burj Khalifas, or nearly 5,800 meters down into total darkness, researchers discovered another species of squid, the bigfin squid. To this day, we know next to nothing about this creature, except that it looks entirely alien with its unnaturally long, bent tentacles. The discovery of these squids gave scientists a glimpse into how many undiscovered, gigantic squid species might still exist in the deep sea. And one of these species, the so-called super squid, is suspected by researchers to be one of the ultimate rulers of the abyss. These are believed to be squid-like animals of unimaginable proportions, reaching lengths of up to 60 meters. That equals the length of 2 full-grown blue whales. Clues pointing to the existence of such super squids come from the famous St. Augustine monster, a colossal carcass washed ashore on the coast of Florida in 1896, which was estimated at the time to be nearly 60 meters long. While some recent studies suggest this tissue mass may have been the decomposed carcass of a whale, it remains entirely possible that true super squids will be discovered in the endless trenches of our oceans in the future. It is true that during the age of the dinosaurs, millions of years before the evolution of modern whales, massive reptiles ruled the oceans. They were the undisputed kings of the waves, whether it was apex predators like the mighty Mosasaurus or the lightning-fast ichthyosaurs, which reached gigantic dimensions. And how could we forget the majestic, long-necked plesiosaurs gliding elegantly through primeval waters? For an unimaginable span of 186 million years, these marine reptiles dominated the seas. Later, however, a massive asteroid impact wiped them out alongside the dinosaurs on land. Ultimately, the only survivors today are purely marine reptiles like sea turtles and semi-marine reptiles like crocodiles. But ask yourself this question: if crocodiles from the age of the dinosaurs are still alive today, is it not possible that some prehistoric reptiles still exist in the unknown depths of the ocean? Now, mainstream research considers it almost impossible for former apex predators like the Mosasaurus or ichthyosaurs to still live undiscovered, as they were surface hunters that had to breathe air regularly. Plesiosaurs, on the other hand, might very well still exist in deep waters. In 1965, the famous US Navy research submarine, the Alvin, dove to a depth of exactly 1,615 meters. The 2 experienced pilots on board observed with their own eyes a creature that looked exactly like a plesiosaur. To this day, this remains the most reliable and credible account of the existence of plesiosaurs in the deep sea. Furthermore, in Scotland, plesiosaur-like creatures have been sighted for over 1,500 years, famously known as the Loch Ness Monster. There is even a highly famous, though controversial, photograph of them. Similar sightings continue globally under various names. Even during the World Wars, several German U-boat crews reported eerie sightings of plesiosaur-like animals thrown to the surface by torpedo explosions. Therefore, it is entirely possible that plesiosaurs are still alive today and will be officially discovered in the future. In ancient times, when humans still traveled by simple sailing ships, sightings of sea serpent-like creatures were anything but rare. While many sea serpent sightings today can be attributed to the biologically documented oarfish, numerous reports exist of gigantic, jointed, serpent-like beings, such as the Gloucester sea serpent, of which historical illustrations and alleged photos exist. Even a subspecies of the mysterious Catborosaurus was mentioned in ancient texts. All these clues point to the real existence of a gigantic sea serpent during that era. As far as modern zoology knows, there are no sea serpents of this size in upper waters today. However, fossil discoveries suggest that jointed, gigantic primeval sea serpents, like the legendary Paleophis colosseus, actually existed 47 million years ago. They were as massive as 4 historical transport wagons lined up, and were the absolute apex predators of their epoch. It is possible that such serpents have survived to this day in the climatically stable depths, lurking in secret. Should large-scale deep-sea explorations take place in the future, there is a high probability that these jointed sea serpents will finally be discovered. Listen closely to this. This haunting sound, known as the bloop, was detected in 1997 by military microphones in the Pacific, the largest ocean in the world. It originated from an unimaginable distance, equivalent to the span between Nepal and Japan. Biologists calculated that a living creature capable of producing such a sound in water would have to be over 100 times larger than a blue whale. This calculation is the source of global speculation regarding an undiscovered, giant, whale-like creature. Of course, there is a scientific counter-argument. Some oceanographers doubt the biological theory, arguing instead that it was the acoustic sound of a massive ice shelf cracking in Antarctica. The existence of an animal of these proportions is therefore highly controversial. Yet, it remains a fact that gigantic life forms did exist millions of years ago. Just think of the legendary Leedsichthys, the largest bony fish ever discovered. The proportions of this animal defy imagination. When this prehistoric fish opened its massive mouth, lined with up to 40,000 tiny teeth, it looked like a bottomless abyss, filtering the ancient seas. We humans would look like tiny, insignificant blips next to its epic size. The Leedsichthys is just one example. Who knows how many fish species of these gigantic dimensions actually existed? It is biologically feasible that some of them still roam the undisturbed depths of the sea today. In fact, eerie incidents from the 20th century support this. It was in 1966 when the advanced submarine Deep Star 4000 dove to an extreme depth equal to the height of 4 Eiffel Towers. During the dive, a crew member spotted a colossal fish that closely resembled the prehistoric Leedsichthys in its monumental dimensions. Much earlier, in 1932, when the world's first true deep-sea exploration vessel, the famous bathysphere, descended to a record depth of 610 meters, William Beebe, a highly respected biologist on board, observed 5 completely unknown fish species. These creatures were entirely new to science, and some were only officially confirmed by modern nets decades later. Therefore, it would be no surprise at all if a gigantic prehistoric fish were rediscovered in the unmapped trenches of the deep sea. Undoubtedly, the megalodon was one of the most terrifying and dangerous creatures to ever exist in the oceans of our planet. According to official geological records, this super shark went extinct roughly 3.6 million years ago due to a drastic global cooling of the seas and the decline of its primary food source, prehistoric whales. But a persistent question remains among cryptozoologists and adventurous marine researchers: is it possible that this gigantic shark has survived in the deepest regions of the world's oceans to this day? Let us look at the biological facts. The megalodon, known to us from fossil records, could reach an epic length of up to 24 meters, about the length of a large commercial transport truck. It was a surface hunter adapted to warm, sunlit waters. Animals living at the surface cannot physically withstand the crushing, immense pressure of the deep sea. Their organs would collapse. However, Earth's history proves a fundamental law of evolution. Under extreme ecological stress, animals adapt radically to their new environment. Could the megalodon or its descendants have done exactly that, retreating into the depths to escape mass extinction at the surface? There are actually some highly unsettling historical clues. In 1875, the famous Challenger expedition discovered 2 remarkably well-preserved shark teeth from the megalodon lineage on the deep-sea floor of the Pacific. When examined in the laboratory, the outer sediment layers indicated that these teeth were not millions of years old, but may have been deposited just a few thousand years ago. These teeth fundamentally challenge the official extinction date of the megalodon. Added to this are countless sightings of giant sharks worldwide, as well as reports of an 18-meter-long black demon shark that has been sighted continuously off the coast of Mexico for over a century. Local fishermen report that the creature is so darkly colored, it is virtually invisible in the natural blackness of the ocean. All these clues point to the possibility that a modified species of a megalodon-like shark still exists in the unexplored depths. It would be no major surprise if a prehistoric shark species were discovered during modern submarine expeditions. Ultimately, my friends, science has been proven dead wrong about extinction in the past. The absolute best proof of this is a fish called the coelacanth, a bizarre 400-million-year-old prehistoric fish that was considered completely extinct alongside the dinosaurs. Every textbook listed it solely as a fossil, yet in 1938, a scientific miracle occurred. A living specimen was unexpectedly pulled from the depths of the ocean by fishermen off the coast of South Africa. The fish had survived the millennia completely unnoticed in the deep sea. This historic event proved once and for all that the ocean can guard its secrets perfectly. So believe me when I tell you, when we consider the infinity, the extreme pressure, and the complete darkness of the world's oceans, absolutely anything is possible in the unfathomable depths of our blue planet. Who knows what monster will surface next?